Egypt, land of the pharaohs, of pyramids and of mysterious colossal statues and vast ancient temples that are still unrivaled by anything that man has built since.
Look, quite honestly, this stuff isn't what interests me. I mean, these are just the funeral arrangements for some crazed megalomaniac who lived 3,000 years before they thought of cryogenic freezers. Look, turn the camera over there. Look, over there. Instead of looking at how the rich and powerful died, let's look at how the ordinary people lived 3,000 years ago. I get the impression that there's a lot going on in modern Egypt that would have been familiar to the ancient Egyptians who lived 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. Well, this is my first visit to Egypt, and to show me around, I'm lucky enough to have a most untypical Egyptologist, Dr. Joanne Fletcher. And she tells me that one significant similarity between today and the times of the pharaohs is the spirit of cooperation.
Wherever you look in modern Egypt, whether it's in rural communities such as this or in urban environments, you see a great sense of teamwork. And if a job has to be done, then quite often there are a large group of people doing it.
Well, these people are doing it for free, they're just coming out?
Yeah, neighbours help each other. If you have a house to build, your neighbours will help you. And when your neighbour's building their house, you help them.
But surely this doesn't go for the building of the pyramids, for example?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The pyramid...
Come on.
No, truly, the pyramid actually embodies this ethos, very much so. It was very much a team effort.
From every corner of the land came teeming multitudes of workers, and then slaves and generations of slaves to wrest the rock from the unyielding earth, while armies of wretched humanity suffered and died to haul their colossal burden across the desert.
Some archaeologists are convinced that the men who built the pyramids were not slaves, but free men working in some sort of cooperative effort. So it may be that the image of ancient Egypt conjured up by Hollywood is based on a profound misunderstanding of how the ancient world worked. I mean, for goodness sake, they even went on strike in ancient Egypt. One lot of workers held a sit-in because they ran out of makeup. But we'll come back to that. This is Saqqara, to the south of modern Cairo. It may look like just a lot of desert, but it's actually an immense burial site of pyramids and tombs. You sometimes get the impression that the ancient Egyptians were obsessed with death. But this is actually just because of a quirk of fate. You see, only 5% of the land of Egypt is fertile, and they didn't want to waste that in the old days on graveyards. So they got in the habit of burying their dead out here in the desert. And it was the sand and the heat that preserved these tombs, almost as long as any other human artifact. But the ancient Egyptians weren't obsessed by death. If anything, they were obsessed by life. And it's so much so that they even recorded everyday speech. And that's what I'm going to find out now. What people were talking about at work 4,500 years ago. I'm told that in here is buried a top civil servant, a chap by the name of T. Actually, his nickname was T the Rich, and he owned vast estates. Well, on the walls in here, he had inscribed snatches of the conversations that he'd have heard as he walked around those estates.
Milk it! Hurry up! The herdsman's coming!
Hey, herdsman, Watch out for the crocodile. It lies in the water and comes unseen.
Don't make so much noise.
Oh, come on. Pay up. It's cheap.
Come and help me before he hits me.
Do we have to spend the whole day carrying barley?
Can't help feeling that T must have had some affection for his workers, at least enough to want to take their chatter with him into the next world. And I wonder how many modern works managers would want to do that. But did T and people like him care enough about his workers to treat them well in this world?
All of us know that anyone that carrying load or pulling load or pushing load may cause this very bad effect on the backbone, especially the backbone.
Dr. Azza Mohammed Sariel Din of the Human Genetics Department, National Research Centre, Cairo, explained to me that the workers who built the pyramids had a pretty hard life.
It is the lower part of the backbone of the vertebrae of one of the workers. His age was 35 years age. And you can see this, of course, it is not smooth as you see this bone. If we see this vertebra, we will find that it is tapered anteriorly, and this is not normal. This is also because of the compression of the load that he carrying heavy weights. Yes.
So there was plenty of backache in the.
Yes, of course, of course.
But however hard the work was, medical treatment was given to the privileged and unprivileged on an equal basis.
Here we have two bones of the upper arm. This is from the high officials. Yeah. This is the part of the
holding the upper arm, or this
yes,
forearm
this part. Yes,
of
this
some
part.
High official. What would he be?
It was of a male. His age was about 35 to 40 years age.
But somehow, at some point, he broke his arm. Here.
Yes, and this is the same for another one, but from the workers. Yeah. And you can see the alignment here may be better than this, which means that they are treated in the same way. They use splints to fix the fracture for some time and until it healed.
Yes, and the workers' splint must have done a better job than that.
Yes.
But what was it like to be an ordinary Egyptian living 3,000, 4,000 years ago? How can we get any idea of daily life so long ago? Well, here in Luxor, almost 500 miles from Cairo, Joanne is taking me to the tomb of a craftsman called Senajem.
Watch your head, Terry, it's quite low down.
Wow.
This is someone I wanted to show you, Terry. This is Senajem, a workman.
Okay, it looks like a farm worker, isn't he?
Well, actually, what it shows is Senajem, the worker, followed by his wife, Nefertiti, and they're showing themselves during the afterlife. This is a scene of the afterlife, and this is how they imagined it, an eternal round of ploughing, reaping and sowing in the fields of the blessed. They have now achieved paradise.
He's reaping the corn here, and it's very high, it looks like the corn. It's as tall as he is.
Well, that was how they viewed the afterlife. Yeah. Corn would grow to at least 6 feet high. There'd be no pests in the field, no insect pests or anything. It would be bliss.
So this man, he was just a farmer, a farm worker, was he?
Well, he was actually an artisan, a craftsman, a painter of immense skill that worked in the royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings.
So he'd be doing things like painting the mum and the coffins and things.
Yeah, like and also painting the scenes in the royal tombs.
Oh wow!
It's a great view. See all the village.
So this is Senajem's village.
Yes, Senajem would have lived here in the bottom right-hand corner. Actually, that's his house. Well, this is the village of Deir el-Medina. And these remains are the homes of the workmen that actually built and decorated the tombs in the Valley of the Kings.
So what kind of workmen are these?
Well, the very highly skilled individuals, a professional class of artisans, painters, scribes. So here we are, Terry. This is the actual front door of Senajem.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
So what would it have looked like?
Well, it would have been wood, painted red.
Yeah.
and the outside walls sort of plastered and painted white. So it would have been a very smart.
Would it have had a number on it or anything? Saying
Probably his
Synergy?
name, yeah. So
Yeah?
the postman would know it again.
Here he's in. Hello.
For anybody
I don't
there?
think he's there. No, I think he's somewhere else. I don't know where.
But this is the front reception room.
Right. You sure this room isn't the forerunner of that dreaded thing, the front room that no one uses?
Oh yeah, this is the front parlour. Always kept immaculate, I think.
Oh, now this feels like a more lived-in sort of room. I don't know why. Maybe
Certainly
it's
is.
square.
Well, this is a stone plinth on which the sort of central column holding the house.
Not a
would
coffee
have been.
table.
No, I mean, an attractive idea. And then here we have a feature that you can see in almost every Egyptian home, certainly in the rural areas, another mud brick kind of bench shape on which there would have been cushions. The Egyptians were big on feather-filled cushions for comfort, you know, you sort of wanted to be comfortable when you were reclining. And here the family would sit and chat, gossip, play games perhaps.
And would they be decorated on the walls?
Oh, certainly, yeah. We know that the walls would originally have been plastered over. Some of the houses retained some of the colour, kind of ochres and reds, and they really went in for fairly bright colours, the similar colours that we saw in the tomb earlier.
And what are the other rooms then?
Well, we go through here into some
doors.
a storage area, basically, and the pit you can see is one of the areas in which they would have stored food. There's a similar structure on the other side of the wall, and you could have placed the large sort of terracotta pots in there to keep various things cool. There are the fragments of a terracotta pot, very thick, would have kept the contents cool. No doubt the water storage areas.
Yeah.
And these could, again,
would it
can
be filled
seen.
in the pit? Do you think? I mean, would you have the? I mean, how do you keep those pots upright?
Probably it would have had a sandy base, and then the pots could have been stood in that, or maybe in some form of container. But again, with this enclosed, it would have kept the contents shaded and cool at all times.
So that's the cool cellar.
That's the sort of refrigerator.
So is that going up to the upper story? I mean,
they would have gone right up to the roof.
the bedrooms, or?
Well, they did actually sleep on the roof, as they do today in parts of modern
those
Egypt.
stairs are 4,000 years old, aren't they?
It's incredible, isn't it?
But still functioning.
The sleeping arrangements would have been rather ad hoc because some people would have slept on the benches or on mats on the floor, and then in summer certainly they would have slept on the roof.
Looking down from a balloon, it seems not that much has changed. People today still sleep on the rooftops under the stars, just as they did in ancient Egypt. Oh, there's Sennacherib. Joanne is a great enthusiast for the Egyptian way of life, past and present. In fact, she's been adopted by an Egyptian family, the Shebas, and she's taken me round to their new home. I'm wondering if it'll give me any idea of how Sennacherib lived.
So this is the best room that nobody uses.
Yeah, this is the front parlour just for visitors and special guests. Tisbelke?
Hey everyone.
This is the family. Wonderful family.
And I mean, the furniture is basically the kind of furniture not very different from the furniture that we've had.
Absolutely. I mean, totally comparable. I mean, these kind of low benches, either in wood or in mud brick, and then kind of padded out with cushions. I mean, the Egyptians have always liked sort of comfort, and these plump cushions have been found in pharaonic tombs.
And so you might sleep up here, huh?
You could sleep up there, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and it's beautiful. Oh, the wind is blowing in my face.
There's a central column, exactly as it was, holding up the roof. If you look at the roof structure, we'll get a good idea of how the roofs originally were at Deir el-Medina, with the palm fronds going one way and then the wooden beams the other way.
And half of this room covered over and half it open to the sky.
Yeah, because of course it never rains. Yeah. And these inner rooms that we can see here, again, very, very simply furnished, and the two bedrooms leading off. Mats on the floor. A few of them have beds, but by and large the family tend to sleep on the floor on these low benches.
Yes.
The artists, craftsmen, stoneworkers and carpenters who decorated the tombs of the pharaohs included images from their own everyday life in their work. Tomb workers like Senajem built their own tombs and decorated them in their spare time. Funny sort of hobby, but still. But these do-it-yourself tombs have left us with wonderful images of everyday life in the ancient world.
Woodworking, is that?
Yeah, woodworking too. Can you see the guy using the sword to sword through that plank?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a guy with an axe next to him. He's not standing too close.
Yeah.
And all these guys are making wooden furniture.
Yeah.
There's some guys making bed legs at the top, making chairs. And then this wonderful creation here.
Oh, it's a Welsh dresser.
But this scaffolding is fantastic. It
There's a
really
little
is.
smile there.
Yeah. This guy's holding onto the side of the scaffolding while he's reaching up, possibly with a stone pounder, which we use to sort of even away the surface.
So this is the brickworks there.
Breaking up the mud there, and then the guy above is actually fashioning it into mud bricks with the little wooden mud brick maker.
Oh, bellows! Oh, he's pumping.
He's pulling the fire.
He's holding string to bring them up.
Yeah, and they're getting the temperature of the fire, and then the smelting metal.
They've got a couple of guys with bellows.
The craft